Wilmington-based banking software company nCino planning to lay off 7% of its global workforce. A representative tells WECT the move comes as they evaluate their operations and make changes to ensure long-term success in an evolving market. A majority of those impacted are located in the U.S. However, officials with the company wanted to protect their employees' privacy and did not release information on how many people were laid off at the Wilmington office. nCino opened its company headquarters here in Wilmington in 2011.